All right, so I want to demonstrate this other script. This is normally my main AutoHotkey script. I've pulled it out just for demonstration purposes. And, I used to be a data scientist, and I'd have these really large files, 100 megs, a gigabyte, whatever. And I'd want to take a look inside them and look at the headers and kind of look at the structure of the data, or just get an idea how many rows it is. And it was really a pain to, let's say, like open it in Excel, or Site does a pretty good job as long as the file is below, I think, like, I don't know, 300 megs. It actually does pretty good on even somewhat large files, but it's still, not the best format, and it takes a second to load, and, it's just not necessarily the best way to go. So I wrote this script. Basically, let's go quickly through it. So I set the max mem. I'm not sure if this is needed or not, but so far I haven't had a problem with the way it's structured now, running out of memory. Because this is on its own script, I have the set batch lines to -1, so this one runs very fast. I'm getting the path of the file, splitting it, looping over. I had some other issues with other approaches which were faster, but they didn't always, the new line feed and the end of line feed didn't always get detected. And so this I found to be the most accurate. It basically loop reads over the file, it just increments the last line. So I get the last line, I get a number count of how many there are. This whole crazy regex is simply to add commas to if it's over 1,000, right? If it's over 1,000 rows, it'll start incrementing it with the commas. And I don't know why this isn't something in probably like the format command. That would be nice. I don't think it's there. And then we display it, and then it says, do you want to display the headers? And then I actually built a little bit of logic in here. Now this one, I think I'll have Maceruth at some point refactor this for me so I can learn how I know this could have been done more efficiently, but this is the way I wrote it. So I get the main point was I was getting a count of each of the items in that header row. First read in the header row, and then get a count of how many commas there are, how many pipes there are, how many tabs there are. But I store it because I also needed to use the character later, and I wanted to have like a word description. So I shoved all those into individual objects. And a default, like just delim of what I'll be using. I set the tab as the default just in case there's like a tie or it doesn't detect it. I want to have something there. And then I shove that all inside of a parent object, obj, and then I loop over the object, looking at each one of the items, the count values for each one of those sub objects. And if one's bigger, then 0, whichever, and then it just keeps incrementing. All right, whichever one has a bigger one, if it's then, it resets this to the first time through. If this is bigger than 0, it'll put it here. Then the next time through, that might be, let's say 5, it'll check to see if that next delimiter has a bigger count than that number. And if so, it would assign it, right? So it just iterates over it. And then later, I transpose the headers because this is where it's just easier for me to look at them sideways instead of across the top in case it's a really wide file. And show me at the top here what the delimiter it is. I guess I could have put the count here, maybe, whatever, in the title bar. And then I say probably, right? Because again, I'm guessing, and I think I maybe spelled probably. Oh well. Let's take a look at it in use. So let me launch it to make sure. Oh, what happened? Oh, it's funny. I was deleting some extra junk at the bottom, and I got rid of the closing bracket. So let's go here. Now let's start off with a somewhat small file, 39 megs. I highlight the file, hit my hotkey, and that's like almost instantaneous, right? So look at 852,000 lines, right, are found in this CSV file. Do you want to display headers? Let's say yes. And there we go. It's probably a comma, and this is the things, and I put the comma here just to help show these are the headers. Let's jump it up here to this land. I don't know. So that one's still 1.4 million rows, right, lines of data. And let's take a look at how it does. So it shows the pipes. This is probably a pipe, right? Let's jump up to like this one here. This is a 362 megabyte. Now, don't confuse the file size with the row lines, right? Just because it's a bigger file. Some of them are a lot wider than others. I'll hit my hotkey. That's 1, 2. That was about 2 seconds. 2.7 million rows. Display headers, sure. So here are the headers. Now this file, looking at it, I can tell you right now, the headers there is no header in this file, right? So this is also a great way to understand, hey, are there headers in this file or not? Often data files don't actually have header files in them. You need to have a mapping file somewhere else. So this is a great way. I don't have to open it in Excel or something else, right? I can just click this button and bam, I'm there. How about a 2.2 gigabyte file? So let's start counting. I'm gonna hit the hotkey and start counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 7. 3.4 million rows. Now again, this was a really wide file. Let me see. Yes. So this was a really wide file. It says comma. I think this one's like a space delimited, which was going to be really complicated to try to figure out. So anyway, I just thought, I'd like to see that. Again, if you work with big files, this is a great, easy tool that, hey, you know what? Again, it's not perfect, but it's something people could add on to if they have other delimiters that they need. It'd be pretty easy to add in a new object, and then just add it down here as well. So hope that helps. Cheers. Oh, subscribe and like and comment and share and, I don't know, send me some money. Bye.